Bum 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 bum. Dun 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 dun. Bum 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 bum. Dun 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 dun. Well, hello everybody. It's Kyle back again with episode 2 of Mindset Mastery, talking about erasing embarrassment. So again, for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, part of this is just my own level of growth and experimentation with video and trying to help people out in the midst of the coronavirus, and really trying to do that by helping us strengthen our minds. So some of you asked again before, where's my credibility? Why do I do this? And so a couple of things about me. One, about 6 years ago, I started a not-for-profit, actually a church. And when you start a business or a company or a website, and it's sort of your primary job, you become your own boss. And so motivation sort of becomes everything. Your mindset is the key that unlocks your potential. And so if you don't know how to use it, it's super hard to succeed. So I've had to learn a ton about motivating yourself. And so that's why I'm doing it. A couple other things about me. I got 3 kids, so I started this not-for-profit, this venture on my own with a great group of people who helped me, but I was the lead on it. I have 3 little boys. I've also finished my master's and now working on my doctoral degree all at the same time. I'm in the process of writing a book. And so again, self-motivation has been key to my journey. And my hope is to help you out. So hopefully you find this interesting, because so many people face embarrassment. We face it in our public lives, our professional lives. We experience embarrassment in 2 common ways. One, there's what I'd say personal embarrassment. And then we'll talk about crowd embarrassment. And we're going to talk about how you erase embarrassment in these 2 spheres. So if you don't learn how to deal with embarrassment, you're going to miss out on so much of what life has to offer. It's sort of like the person who, if you don't control embarrassment, you become like the person who goes to the beach but is too ashamed to swim in their bathing suit. And so you miss out on so much of what life has to offer. So we got to master this. How do we get over embarrassment? And I'll let you in on a little secret just between us. Yesterday, my first ever live stream video, I was unbelievably embarrassed. After the video, a bunch of you were super complimentary. A couple 100 people viewed it, which is amazing. So if you're watching, you're one of hundreds who will end up seeing this. But afterwards, I just felt so embarrassed, I was crippled. I'm I never want to do that again. And here's why. Most of the techniques I use to get over embarrassment personally, I couldn't use because I was talking to a camera. And I felt the pressure of the room, the crowd, those of you who are watching. So I want to talk to you about what I did afterwards to get over my embarrassment so I could do video number 2, erasing embarrassment. For some of you, this will be super important because you want to meet that special someone. You want to meet somebody. It's personal for you. So if you're a guy and you want to approach a woman, or vice versa, you're a woman, you want to approach a guy, or whatever, you want to approach somebody to get to know them, or you have a proposal you want to swing by your boss. It's just personal life, but you need to do it. Or some of you feel embarrassed if you have conflict with another person. So how do you get over it? And then I'll talk to you about how do you get over embarrassment in front of a crowd? How do you get rid of that anxiety and nervousness that comes from public speaking? So I'll give you a couple of words that are really, really helpful for me. The first one is this. Step 1 to get over embarrassment is control. So if you're feeling embarrassed when you talk to somebody, there's a couple of things you can control. One is what you look at. So for instance, if you're talking to somebody who's intimidating, being that they're really good looking, they're very scary, they have a lot of power over you, they might have a position over you, one thing you can do is simply focus on something about that person. So you can look at their eyebrows. It's a common trick. You don't have to stare directly into their eyes, but you just look at their eyebrows or the spot in between, and you just notice something finely detailed about them. And it takes your mind off of your anxiety or your embarrassment. So you can control what you look at. Second thing you can do is you can control your breathing. So one of the things I am working on, even as I'm talking to you now, still a little bit nervous, still figuring stuff out, is I control the rate of my breathing. And if you take big, deep breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth, don't be weird because that looks weird. But if you take big breaths and control your breath, your anxiety, your embarrassment, it goes away. Another one is your pace. You control your pace. So you slow down. And these three things are going to help your levels of anxiety and embarrassment just collapse, just shrink, which is awesome. Now, what about if you're dealing with a crowd? The same principles actually occur. So when you're speaking to a crowd, let's say, one of the greatest fears in life that people have is public speaking. If you speak to the whole crowd and you don't focus on, control what you're looking at, the room will eat you alive. So I've spoken in front of, I think the biggest crowd I've ever had was probably 500 or 600 people. And they were all in my same industry. They'd all been in it longer than I was. And the mistake I made is I looked at the room and just got totally intimidated. The next time I spoke in front of 500, 600 people, I decided to speak to one person at a time because I could control them and I could speak to them. And because I could speak to them, I could do the second thing. I could connect with them personally. So when you're speaking to one person at a time, you're building a connection. So this works for both personal and crowd. So part of what you want to do to overcome embarrassment is this. You connect with the person you're talking to. So for instance, your boss, if you start to empathize with your boss when you're talking to them, you can start to think about what they want. They want more productivity. They want greater staff culture. They want more money. They want to go home early. You start to empathize with people. You really start to connect with them. And then actually you'll begin to experience a decrease in your own levels of embarrassment and anxiety because you know what the other person wants. So even some of you, I'm guessing, you got big dreams for why you don't want to be embarrassed. I guess for probably a bunch of you, there's a relationship you want to initiate or fix or strengthen or start. Again, be it a romantic relationship or just a professional one. Most of us, we want to get better in this area of life. So you do that by connecting with the person, trying to think what they might want. If you're wrong, they'll correct you, and then you can connect even better. Third step to getting over embarrassment. So again, I was super embarrassed after my first one. It was a good video. You should check it out. It was helpful on how to, lay your day out before you have a great day. But the third step is simply this. You want to correct yourself. So this is about a mindset. So here's my mindset. My mindset is this. My first is my worst. The first time I do anything, it's the worst time I do anything. So yesterday, some of you very graciously told me that my camera angle was wrong, so it reversed all the words on my whiteboard. I might be making mistakes right now that I can't see because I can't see the other side of my camera. But I'm committed to this growth mindset. I'm going to get better every time I do one of these videos. I'm going to get my lighting better. I'm going to get my setup better. My content's going to improve. And so I make a list after I do something, either personally or in a crowd, right away. I typically do it mentally. It's better if you can write it down. And I correct all that I did wrong. And that way, when I do that, I give myself permission to go, I don't need to be embarrassed. I'm just improving. Same phenomena happens when people go to the gym. A lot of people, they start lifting weights, they start exercising, and they feel embarrassed because they're not where they want to be. And people are looking at them. Number one, most people are at the gym because they're self-conscious. You got to connect with them. They're not thinking about you. They're thinking about themselves. But number two, you go, I'm on my way up. I'm getting better. A lot of my thinking has actually been around this idea that systems are better than goals. So for me, a lot of what I'm trying to do here is create a system to get better at speaking to people digitally and online and honestly, hopefully help a lot of people and help us get through this coronavirus. That's my goal, but my system is this. I'm going to do a video every day around noon, hopefully. And hopefully it helps a whole bunch of people. And we'll see what comes out of it. A system is better than a goal. So for instance, I won't know if I have a goal, help people get through the coronavirus well. I can't know if I've accomplished that until the whole thing's over. But a system I can control. So a system allows me to go, I'm going to make a video a day. I'm going to talk about how to have a healthy mindset. I can help people that way. So every day I'm accomplishing what I set out to, whereas with a goal you don't know. Some of this thinking actually comes from the author of Dilbert. He wrote a book called How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big. His name is Scott Adams. Super helpful. So how do you erase embarrassment? You control what you're looking at. You control your pace. You control your breathing. Number two, you connect. You try to empathize with those you're speaking to. Figure out what they're looking for. And try to empathize with their own levels of anxiety or embarrassment too. Number three, correct. Have this growth mindset. I'm going to get better every day. Because when you know that, you'll never need to feel embarrassed about botching it on your first time. So control, connect, correct. And that should help you erase embarrassment. Which is totally cheesy what I did. I totally get that. But I hope it helped. We'll see you soon. See you tomorrow.